In my listings appointments, I always get those two questions. The first one is, aren't the inspections the buyer's responsibility? The answer to this is yes, only if you want to give the buyers the leverage to renegotiate the contract after you get in escrow. And at that point, the buyer will be in control to negotiate repairs or credit back or price reduction. The second question that I get from home sellers is, why do I have to give the buyer a list of all what's wrong with my house before they even write an offer? And the answer to this is, the more clear you are and the more disclosures you have about your house, the more the buyer feels at ease, comfortable, and confident to write a very strong offer. And I also get these questions from the home sellers. Do I have to fix all those issues that the inspectors found wrong with my house? The answer to this, no, you don't have to. Everything in a purchase contract is negotiable. We are doing the inspections for you as a home seller to have peace of mind, to know what's wrong with the house and have no surprises when we get in escrow. And after we get the list of all the findings from the inspectors, we can decide which repairs are priority and which repairs are not. But having the inspections done are great to have as part of our disclosure package. If you are thinking about listing your house for sale, I strongly recommend that you do all the inspections on your house before you have the house active for sale on the market. And today, I will explain why I highly recommend that strategy. This is not about over-disclosing or hurting the sale. It is about clarity, preparation, and control. And let's talk about what are the inspections that I recommend to be done. First, the home inspection or the property inspection. The second is the termite inspection. The third is the roof inspection. The fourth is chimney inspection. And finally, the pool inspection if the house has a pool. Now, I would like to explain why waiting to do the inspections after you get in escrow could create problems. Let's say you got your house ready for sale, you put it on the market, and you had no inspections. And the buyer has a condition in the offer that they will move forward with the sale after the inspections. And they went ahead and did those inspections and found a major issue that will cost about $50,000 in termite repairs. What's going to happen next is the buyer is going to come back to you, try to renegotiate the contract to either that you give them $50,000 credit or do the repairs or do a price reduction. At that point, what are your options? Your options are going to cost you a lot of money that you did not know about. And you will have to accept one of those options to move forward with the sale. If you don't accept the price reduction, giving the buyer credit, or doing the repairs, at that point, the buyer has the right to back out, cancel the contract, and you will have to put your house back on the market. And all the buyers out there are going to ask, why is this house back on the market? And you will have to disclose all the findings the previous buyer had in their inspections reports. So why not do the inspections upfront before your house get on the market? You would know what is wrong with the house before the house goes on the market. At that point, you have two options. Either do the repairs or price the house correctly to reflect the issues of the house. And then when you have a buyer, before they get in escrow, they read the reports and the negotiation happens before you get in escrow. And now you are in escrow and it is a done deal. Let me explain here. The buyer does have the right to do their inspections even after they get in escrow and even after you did your own inspections and disclosed it to them and they are in escrow. A lot of buyers want to do those inspections for just their own peace of mind, and it is okay. And let me tell you here, most buyers would want to do their own inspections despite the fact you did your inspections and they are in contract now. They just do it for their peace of mind, and I want you to be aware of that. So why do I strongly recommend doing the pre-inspections before the house goes on the market for sale? That helps pricing the house accurately. We will have a full disclosure package and the buyer will not control the narrative. And let me share a story here with you. I had this listing and we did all the pre-sale inspections and also we ordered the homeowner association documents, and all of a sudden in the HOA docs, we found out that they had a new assessment that they have to replace the roofs for the whole complex. And that's a cost of $50,000 per house. And after we did the inspections and saw the findings in the inspections, the seller did some of the repairs, and we priced the house accurately to reflect the condition of the house. And we presented all those documents to all the buyers before they wrote an offer. And why is that? Because knowledge is power. It is power to the seller and it is power to the buyer, because both buyer and seller in this situation are aware of everything about the house. And that will help the buyer to write a very well educated offer on this house. And they actually did write a great offer, and we got in escrow. But guess what? The buyer's agent, after we got in escrow, ordered their inspections, and they wrote us a list of what's wrong with the house. And I sat down with the seller and looked at their list, and we looked at our reports and our findings, and we found that they exactly are the same. So I went back to the buyer's agent and told them those findings are exactly what we have on our inspections reports. What are you trying to do here? And then they said, we want a price reduction. And I'm like, this was already negotiated in the offer before we got in escrow. And it states it clear here in the final counter that the buyer signed, and they already agreed to the price. And there was a term in the final counter that the seller will not do further repairs. So this is what I'm talking about. Knowledge is power. The seller knew about what's wrong with their house. They fixed some of it, and we went on the market. We got a great offer negotiated before we got in escrow. And when the buyer tried to renegotiate again after we got in escrow, my seller was in a very strong position because they did what they're supposed to do. They disclosed everything about the house upfront. And from that point on, we moved forward and closed the transaction. So doing pre-sale inspections make the escrow move faster, less back and forth, and fewer reasons, if none, for the transaction to fall apart. I highly recommend pre-sale inspections because they protect your price, eliminate any hassle, eliminate uncertainty, and help close the transaction on time. If you are thinking about selling your house and you are wondering what inspections you need to do, I will be happy to help you with the process. I do strategize for success. My name is Heba Rayan. I am a realtor with Coldwell Banker in Danville in the East Bay, and I come from residential appraisal background. And my background as a residential appraisal gives my client the edge to price the house correctly to the market and the time to when this house will actually go on the market to sell for the highest price and get the best terms. And my number is here.